Well, we've probably heard the term government immunity, but do you know what it means? In this week's Know the Law segment, Tom Sinas is here to talk about the role it plays here in Michigan and really impacts people's lives.
It really can. It's confusing. It's confusing for lay people. It's confusing for lawyers. So let's start with what the general concept means.
Okay.
Government immunity means that government and the people who work for government cannot be sued for conduct that they commit in office that other people believe is negligent. So you can't go out and sue the governor or sue the mayor. That's the general idea, that
right.
they are immune from civil lawsuits.
But we know that, like in the case of the Flint water crisis, they sued.
That's a perfect example. So you start with the general concept, but then you recognize that over time we have recognized that there are exceptions, okay? There are certain governmental actors that are afforded absolute immunity, and then there are certain governmental actors that are afforded what we call qualified immunity.
Okay.
Absolute immunity means that you cannot sue these people for their governmental actions. A good example would be a judge or a legislature.
Okay.
You can't sue a judge because you don't like his ruling. You can't sue a legislator because you don't like the law that they voted for.
Right.
They have absolute immunity. What about qualified immunity? Qualified immunity is the idea that certain people can be sued,
right.
but only under limited circumstances.
They were negligent, they didn't do their due diligence, something like that?
Usually what it means is that you have to be more than negligent.
Okay.
So we hear about this a lot in police misconduct cases, because the police, of course, work for the government. Can the police or the police departments be sued? Yes, but only under limited circumstances. They have qualified immunity, which means that you, if you're the injured person, has to show more or less that the police officer's conduct was so far out of line that it clearly violated someone's constitutional right. That's the concept of qualified immunity.
Pretty high bar.
It's a high bar. That's really what it comes down to. It's a high bar. Now, there are other areas where the legislature has decided that immunity doesn't apply at all. Not even qualified immunity. We just treat certain arms of government like we would everyday people. A classic example of that is government-owned vehicles. If a government official is driving a government-owned vehicle and causes an auto accident, there is no immunity that applies in that situation. And there are other examples, the maintaining of public highways, for example. So really what this all comes down to is when you're considering bringing an action against the government or feel aggrieved by the government, you have to ask yourself, and most likely a lawyer, can I bring this cause of action?
Right.
And what standard applies to this particular government actor? It is a very complicated topic, one that we could talk about later, but
right.
The message here is this is not simple stuff.
Right. But it doesn't mean that it can't be done. There
That's
are
right.
exceptions to the rule.
That's right.
And if somebody has a legal question, they can actually call your office.
They sure can, 616-301-3333, or they can find us online at www.sinasdramis.com, or shoot us an email at info@sinasdramis.com.
Tom, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Christian.